Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and you can see my finished objects pile peeking up at the in the corner there. What did I say? I said welcome to Krafting Kitty. It's Saturday. It's time for my weekly roundup. What is a weekly roundup? Well, I go through my week in crafting and the book I'm reading. So this week, that means we go through any WIPs, works in progress, finished objects, FOs I have. We don't go through every single project because I have a couple of projects that have their own segments. Fridays with Fred, Things We're Making Thursday, and I'm doing a sweater for my husband as a separate segment. Quickly, because I get questions, this is the CNC cowl. It is a knit cowl. I got it from a kit on Mountain Meadow Yarns. Mountain Meadow Wool. It was really, really fun. It was great. It uses this really unique bamboo wool blend yarn. Fabulous. I did check. You can get that pattern. Just look up C and ampersand C cowl on Ravelry. It's there. I don't recall if it was paid. This is the Festive Dragon Chevron scarf. It is a pattern tutorial by Gary from Urban Yarns. I used 2 willow yarns, a willow wheel and a willow burrow to make mine. And there you go. It's really fun, really easy. It kind of combines granny, and with these ridges, it's fully reversible. So you don't have any weird, like, I'm wearing a scarf and it flaps open and now you see some weird wrong side. Doesn't happen. Gary's a thinker. That's why we love him. I adore Gary. Anyway, okay, so let's hop in. Last week I had nothing done. This week I have a plethora done. Mostly because my Addie got freed up because I finished the blanket. I'm pointing behind the camera. It's still on the table. I have not even started trying to seam it together yet. Honestly, this week I kind of looked around and felt a bit overwhelmed by my WIPs. I think I need to really focus and get some of the things I'm kind of rotating as WIPs off my plate before I start doing something like that. So that blanket's going to be in a holding pattern for a little bit. Maybe until June. We'll see. Anyway, let's talk actual finished items. Let's just hop right in. Finished items. I did finish my V-Stitch Cowl Infinity Scarf. This is a pattern by Bella Coco. This will be a giveaway item for the Krafting Kitty Creator Spotlight this month. So you can I made it kind of big, thinking you could kind of fold it up as you wanted. I think it's big enough to loop around twice. Maybe not if you fold it over. Anyway, I had fun with it. It's a very, very nice, easy pattern to do while you're just, zoned out. This is not I need to have my full brain power focused on a project and concentrate. That is a watching television project. I have one of these left. So the winner is going to get that, and I'll send her along the extra full skein of the yarn I use in case you want to make a matching hat or do with whatever you please. I don't care. Once it's out of my hands, it's yours to do with as you wish. If you want to re-gift it, if you're a content creator and you want to throw it into a giveaway yourself, it's out of my hands, and I'm just happy you get a use out of it. I've gotten emails where people ask my permission to do things with the items I've sent, and it's like, go for it. Whatever makes you happy. Whatever is of use to you. I used Charisma Tweed Hues, Loops and Threads. The colorway is Mountain Lake. This was from one of the first clearance hauls that Brian got me, and one of his first appearances on the channel, so I thought that was kind of fun. I used Furl's Streamline Acrylic 7mm for it, and I thought it worked nicely. I do think maybe an 8mm might have made it a little drapier, but I am very happy with that project. It was fun. What else did I do? As I said, my Addie was free, so I got the scraps that I went through 2 of my scrap bags this week and was able to pull out a bunch of yarn to try to use on the Addie, and consolidated the 2 into 1, which I love. So this is the kind of, this is a loop, no, this is a Mainstays pink multi with white. It's a child size, obviously. If you want to flip up the brim, you can do it. It's fully reversible, so you could do either way. If you want just a pop of pink and mostly white, or if you want mostly pink, or you don't even have to flip the brim. Whatever you want to do on the Addy. Fun times, and it uses my scraps, which I love. I also made this adult size hat. This is the leftover yarn from that blanket I was talking about, the blanket I made on the Addy. This is also fully reversible, so you could decide which colorway you like and go with that, brim up or down to your liking. This one I made a matching hat or matching scarf for. So this is double layer, and I Kitchener stitched the end so it's a flat end instead of the cinched end. And it's going to be easier if I show it like this. I worked in some Red Heart soft white, the kind of creamy color that I had left over from my Berber Afghan, and kind of just made a color block scarf with the remnants. I think it's kind of cool. It's not all even, because I had more of this curry color left over than I had the other colors. But I think it's cool. I like it. There's a couple of rough spots. For some reason, the curry liked to tuck stitches. But there we go. So we have a hat and scarf set with that. And what else did I make? We'll just finish off the Addy items. This is a Red Heart Super Saver. I don't know the colorway. I used it to make Chomps a matching hat and mittens for this winter. And so I just used the last of that and finished it off with black. So you have either a fully black hat or you can do the black and blue hat. And again, you can do it. This is kid sized. You can do it with the brim or without the brim. The black was Mainstays black. That I just gotta leave a black and white down there. So as I use these scraps, if I'm like, ooh, I'm not having enough to finish a hat, I just look for whichever one I think will match best and throw it in. What else did I do? I used the rest of that Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick to make just a quick garter stitch kind of ear warmer headband. So that just used up that one. And then the final finished object I have is, I'm going to throw Hattie over there. I did do Bot Hatapalooza. So this is the On My Tracks beanie. That is a cat hair. And there you go. I didn't bring the yarn in. Oh, I've got half of this left. This is a yarn that came to me from the UK. Stylecraft something. It's a DK yarn. I really like this. I like it. I'm keeping this one for myself. It's beautiful. I really, really, really enjoyed using this yarn. It was a joy to work with. I do feel like, as with a lot of Crystal's hats, it came out bigger for me than I think it was supposed to, but I have a gigantic head, so that's okay. My head is 23 inches in circumference, so the hats were there. She's like, oh, this fits a 19 to 21 inch. When I make them, following the same pattern, they fit me with some room to spare, so that's okay by me. Like I said, that's all my finished objects. Quite a good haul. A lot of it hats and things from the Addy, but that's okay. That's okay with me. What else did I do? We'll move on to whips. I did get my... I actually had this mini incorporated on Sunday because we had big computer problems. My software stopped working, and I spent a lot of the day Sunday trying to figure out why it wasn't working. But we got it figured out. That's fine. Had a minor meltdown because I was like, what am I going to do? So there's the newest mini. It has kind of a to me, it feels very Monet Water Lilies color palette. That's what I'm thinking. And then that very dark one there. Oh, the camera's blowing it out so you can see it a little better. Whoa. Okay, that's super blown out. Yikes. Anyway, it's in. I finished it. I've kept my 1 mini a week. I am loving how this cowl is turning out. You might be saying, Erin, what cowl is that? Because you introduced it weirdly. This is the Pickle Jar Cowl Kit from Aberdeen Wools. Basically, I am just letting fate decide, and I am randomly pulling a mini out, so I'm not pre-planning anything. And that is the mini I try to add that week. So let's see. Oh no, I did that. So I held it up this way last time and my hand got caught. So let's hold it up this way. The Jar of Fate! This is the blue one. So this is a very tonal, steely blue color. It's darker on screen than it is in person. That was kind of flopping around. I think it was saying, hey woman, it's my time to shine. So we are going to let it shine. I think that'll look really nice. Yeah, it kind of, yep, some of this color is kind of in there already. So that's going to pull nicely. And I don't really, there hasn't been a tonal, has there? I suppose it depends if you think that's tonal, or that's tonal. See, to me, I wouldn't say that's tonal. I'd say that's more ombre, and this is more solid color tonal. And what else do I have? I have, let's look at this bag. So this is my Mystery Yarn Challenge project for my MYC 524. I am trying to finish this scarf that I found amongst my scrap yarn. So I am basically just knitting until I run out of yarn. I put a good amount on this, which is I'm happy with. I am using, it's just a pattern I made up. I'm using US 5 knitting needles. It's just a garter stitch border with stockinette in the middle. And when I first started it, I thought it was going to be a cowl, so I did not put an end border in. So it's going to have kind of a curly end when it's done. I am finishing off, see, this is almost done, my Mary Maxim Artist Palette yarn, which is sadly discontinued, but beautiful. I did a review on this and then found out it was discontinued. Boo! Boo! They take all the pretty stuff. But I believe my goal is to have that done for you, or done for me. I don't think you guys care if I'm done or not. You're here for the ride. But yes, I would like to have that done next week. What else am I having here? I have, let's do a crochet project. 2024 is going to be my year of amigurumi. I'm currently working through all of the critters in this book, Crochet Cute Critters by Sarah Zimmerman, who is repeat crafter me on the YouTubes. And I am making the giraffe pattern. And okay, so I make these for my kids. Kids get to pick the colors. They make all decisions. Mommy just makes it. It is much less obscene than it was last week. So it has its horns, both arms, and 2 legs. So we're moving on. We're almost done. Also next week, this should be done. So I need to do the ears, the snout, and the tail. Oh, and put on the spots. You're supposed to put spots on it. So there you go. It's trucking along. I do think the toilet paper roll has worked well to stiffen the neck. I've seen a number of times a suggestion that people use like the foam hair rollers that they get at the Dollar Tree. I've looked at my Dollar Trees and they don't have them. So I'd love to try that if I can track some down. There is a new Dollar Tree that opened, so maybe I'll go check that out and see if they have it. You never know. Also, my Dollar Trees don't have the yarn that everyone else's Dollar Trees seem to have. Every once in a while, there's like a box, but like I've seen people walk in and have like wire displays of yarn. None of them around me has that at all. It's very odd. Okay, let's see what else I have instead of complaining about Dollar Trees. I have these 2 crochet. Okay, I've got 2 crochet patterns, a knit, and a Tunisian crochet. We'll do this crochet. It is my V-stitch sweater that I am making from an MJ Off the Hooks pattern and using mandala tweed stripes on. I put on a good number of rows here. I'm working down the body. So there you go. This is intentionally going to be oversized on me. So yeah, it looks big. It's meant to be big. I like roomy sweaters. I like things to be not form-fitting. So I'm very excited. I'm not pushing this project extra hard right now because June for things we're making Thursday is wearables. So I think finishing up this sweater, I've got a number of sweaters in progress. So I think finishing those, this one primarily first, is going to be my focus for June. So I'm okay letting that ride and doing like a row a day on it because I got lots of things in the mix if you can't tell. What else do I have? We'll do knitting. I have this knit project. This is my husband's socks. This is a ribbed sock pattern I got from a Project for Awesome perk. And I am to the point where, whoops, I am knitting the straightaway of the foot for him. So there you go. I tried to add an extra round in the instep because Brian has very oddly shaped feet. He did karate and kickboxing. He was a professional kickboxer for a couple of matches. I think 7 fights. Well before we met. But all through like grade school, high school, I think even into college, he studied karate and then he taught karate classes. Anyway, he broke his foot a number of times in that. He's got a very strange shaped arch. So I tried to make the arch portion extra big to help it accommodate his foot. We'll see if I succeeded. I don't know. This is an experiment. This yarn is Jelly Bean Yarns. Yep, Jelly Beans Yarns. And the colorway is Seaweed. This is a hand-dyed yarn, came to me from the UK. I think I got this, yep, I got this from Daniel and Ash at the Paw Ply guys. It is so pretty. I love this green. It's such a gorgeous tonal green. It's perfection. I think Brian's going to be super excited. And the feel of the yarn is very soft. I like it. I did not follow the pattern precisely. I didn't like the way their version of the slip stitch heel was working up, so I ripped it out and did a version of the slip stitch heel that I was more comfortable with and moved on from there. What else? 2 more projects to show you. I continued to work on my Oceans Tunisian cowl. I have got something in my eyeball. Yikes. So next week, my focus is going to be finishing that Artist Palace scarf. After that, this is what I want to get off my needles. So if I finish that early in the week, I'm going to double down on this one. It's so close to getting done. This is what I have left of my second 50-gram hank of yarn. I am using Rowan Valley Tweed that I got from my very first Wool Warehouse haul. There you go. And it is the Tunisian smock stitch. So the only way I can keep track in this pattern of where I am is to start the next row of Tunisian stitch so I can look at it. So that's why I always have a partial row here. So there you go. It's basically a 2-row repeat in this part. It's curling up massively on me. And then, so you start with a 2x2 rib with Tunisian knit stitch and Tunisian purl stitch. Then you do the smock stitch for roughly 9.5 inches. and then you end with the same purl pattern. Same rib pattern. I'm a good 7 inches in. So very close to getting to the 9.5 inch mark, and then I can start the ribbing to finish it off. It's worked flat, and then I'll have to sew it together to make a cowl. This is by Nicole N. It was a free pattern on Ravelry. It's going to be linked down below. I don't know how to properly pronounce her last name, so I'm trying not to. The final thing, as I mentioned, I spent a lot of time in here trying to troubleshoot computer programs, or computer problems, and it involved starting, shutting down and restarting the computer tons, which always takes so long. Anyway, I've had this yarn. It's the leftover yarn from my Unicorn Utopia blanket that I did with Ray from Ray's Yarn Addiction. Was that like 2 years ago, Ray? That's insane. I can't imagine. But anyway, I've been wanting to make a bingo, a granny square dress out of it. I've had this design idea in my head, so I just decided I'm sitting here. As I said, I went through my scraps and combined those two bags, and as I was doing that, I pulled this one out, and I was like, nope, that bag is getting used. I'm going to use it for this project, and then probably whatever extras I have after this, because I've used this for a number of projects. It made the Unicorn Utopia blanket. I made Bingo, that unicorn Grafgan, if you recall that, and now I'm going to make this. If I get this many projects out of it and I still have things left over, I think it's time to find a new home. So, anyway, my initial idea, and I measured it out on her with 5 row granny squares. And then she said no, she wanted 6 round granny squares to get the entire rainbow in. I was like, of course you do. Changes the whole size of the square, and she's got a little body. So when I first measured her, it was going to be a 4 granny square panel for each side, and then she would have like 4 granny squares for her chest. I'd have to put in a little thicker join at the sides to make like a little side area, whatever. I don't know what that's called. And then 4 panels for the back, a 4 square panel for the back. So that doesn't work anymore, because with the 6 ones, 2 granny squares go completely around her front torso. So you only need 4 granny squares to go around her entire body. So the idea basically evolved, and I came up with this for kind of the bodice, and then I built up this for her straps. I still want to go in and do an edging here, but I'm going to do a tutorial on that because I had a request to show a picot border. So I think picots would look cute there on her collar. I'm debating. Let me know if you would do this. To do picots on the inside and on the outside here, but not like down into her armpit in there, because I think that would be itchy. And like, I think that would irritate me. So I'm not going to do it to her. And then for the bottom, this is her little waist. And then I'm going to flare it out. So if you can see, that's a little longer. I added stitches to basically accommodate adding 6 granny squares for the first tier of the dress. And then I'll try to flare it again to do, I think, 8 granny squares around the second tier of the dress. She says she wants it as long as possible. So that's where I'm not sure how my yarn is going to hold out. But I have the first granny square of the skirt panel made. And then I'm on the 6th round of the second granny square for that middle panel. Yeah. So working on that. So up next though, that's going to get on hold because every week I start with this and then I move on to a second project in the craft room while I do my editing and things. Okay, so that is all the yarny goodness I have for this week. Yep. Just looking around to make sure I didn't forget a project or anything. So if you don't want to talk books with me, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and I will see you later. Bye-bye. Come back tomorrow. We're going to talk about the new yarns I bought from Joann's. there might be something you might be interested in. But shh, it's a secret. But now we're going to go ahead and talk about books. So, as I mentioned last week, I finished the book That Wouldn't Burn, and I started this Rogues anthology edited by George R.R. Martin, and I still don't know how to pronounce his name, but I've researched him, and he is Gardner, Dozois. He's a very accomplished editor. He's edited a ton of sci-fi magazines and a lot of anthologies, so he knows what he's doing in the editing world. I finished the first book, which was Everybody Loves a Rogue by George R.R. Martin. That's the introduction. I finished that. And then I did Tough Times All Over by Joe Abercrombie. I thought that was good. It was kind of I would say it seemed to feel like it fit in the fantasy genre, but no magic, nothing like that. It just had that feeling, like there was a warrior woman in it. So this is called Rogues, which basically means it's an anthology of books crossing all genres, but it all has to be centered around the theme of rogues. It has to feature a roguish character, that kind of thing. So yeah, I really enjoyed Tough Times All Over. George R.R. Martin writes an introduction for each of the books, kind of telling you about the author and the story to come. I think they're really well written introductions as well. Now, if you would only write Winds of Winter, naughty Aaron, naughty Aaron. We're not even going to talk about it. Is it A Dream of Spring? Is that what the last one's supposed to be? Who knows if we ever see it. Which is funny. Okay, I'm going to go on my diatribe. Like in the books, Jon Snow is still laying, what? I'm not even going to say spoiler alert, because that book has been out for so long. Game of Thrones, the TV show, is long over, so everything's been spoiled. But in the books, Jon Snow is still dead at Castle Black, just laying dead on the ground after he was stabbed. And you don't know what's happened to Jon. We don't know. I really hope the books end differently than the show. That's all I'm going to say. So the next book I read, or the next story in here, I devoured. I thought I was going to start reading a couple of pages and then set it to the side and finish my day and come back to it. No, it had me hooked. I just blew through it. It was amazing. It was Gillian Flynn, Gone Girl, Sharp Objects. She wrote those. It's called What Do You Do? And it was really interesting. It was about, it's framed as a ghost story. It's a psychological thriller type book, which is what she's known for. And she's known for twisty turnies. And there are tons of twisty turnies in here. I still don't know what I think of what happened. It's about a con woman getting conned. Let's just leave it there. And I don't know which con happened. And that is, to me, the mark of a really good book. I don't think it's, like, sometimes you'll read it and you're like, I don't know what happened. And you're just like, because it's so poorly written. This is so well written that either version makes sense. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like so there's definitely multiple rogues going on. There's multiple manipulators going on here. I think the main manipulator is the boy. I'm trying not to give too much away, but I think it's plausible that the other character, which is revealed at the end, could have been the manipulator. I don't know. Oh, but now I'm done with that one. I'm on to Matthew Hughes, The Inn of the Seven Blessings. I'm about 10 pages into it. I think I have about 20 pages left. They're all around 30, 40 pages. Although I think at the end, George R.R. Martin has a short story he wrote that's on the longer side. No, it's not. It goes from page 774 to 806, so that's not that much longer. How long is the lightning tree? So the reason I got it was the Patrick Rothfuss short story in here, The Lightning Tree. That goes from page 712 to 773. So yeah, that one's definitely bigger than the others I've read so far. Probably getting a delivery right now. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. The one I'm reading now is definitely in a sci-fi fantasy genre, and I say sci-fi because it seems like there's a bit of genetic manipulation going on, but it could be, he talks about it as the actor being a magician, so it might be more magical than scientific. It feels maybe more magical. And this one, the rogue is a thief that we meet in the beginning. And it seems to kind of be centered around luck. It feels to me like there's a Loki-esque character being explored as well. So who knows who the rogue is? It could be the thief. It could be the god-like Loki character. I don't know. I have to get to the end to find out, which is, again, the mark of a great story. It hooks you. You gotta find out. You gotta know. I feel like the name Matthew Hughes is familiar to me, but when I read the introduction, none of the books that were mentioned there rung a bell with me. So I don't know if I'm misremembering or what, but he seems like a wonderful author so far. But there you go. There is my kind of rundown of the week. I've been doing some health updates when I have them. It's been I haven't had any appointments. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have any updates. We're going to keep on keeping on. I had a couple of episodes, but we think some of the episodes are linked to my allergies. And we did spend quite a bit of time outside starting our garden. So in tomorrow's video, I'm going to ask it, but I'll ask it here as well. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing the kids and their garden again this year. It seemed like people were pretty interested, but then Chomps broke his arm and things went a bit sideways for us, and I'll be honest, I didn't upkeep the garden and most of it perished. Yeah. But that's okay. That's how it goes sometimes, right? We always start the summer, the end of spring, with the best of intentions, don't we? And then we see how our stamina lasts through the season. But the kids are excited. We've got seeds planted. We have some, the tomatoes I bought as plants, the strawberries I bought as plants, obviously the blueberries we bought as already existing mature plants. So there are some things to look at now rather than just dirt, but most of it is just dirt at this point. But the kids like walking around, they like being little presenters, but I understand this is a crafting channel and that's not something everybody is interested in. So let me know your thoughts. If you want to see it, I am happy to share it. If you don't want to see it, that's totally cool. We could just film it and put it on Chomps' channel. Hoping we're making the right decisions. Okay, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!